Hello, welcome to Outdoors in Scotland. My name's John Burns, and this is my podcast for folk who like the outdoors in Scotland, or pretty well anywhere else for that matter. Anybody who knows me will know that I'm a very keen visitor to bothies all across Scotland and perhaps even beyond that, really. I wanted to have this little podcast to explore bothies outside of Scotland. They do exist, and to talk to a maintenance organiser. All bothies are looked after, that are run by the Mountain Bothies Association, are cared for by what's called a maintenance organiser, who does exactly what that says on the tin and organises repairing the roof and putting the windows in and all that kind of stuff. And without those folk, without that voluntary effort, all the bothies that we love so much just wouldn't exist. So I'm going to introduce Millie Bowdicker, who is maintenance officer for a bothy in Wales. I'll let her pronounce that because I can't. Hello, Millie. How are you?
I'm good, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, where is it you live?
So I live in East Yorkshire, is in Humberside,
Ah, okay.
specifically in a town called Goo.
Right.
And I volunteer in Wales for the Welsh team. Originally, I'm from Poland.
Oh, right. And what brought you to Yorkshire then?
So I was a very young girl. I just finished college. I finished technical college, architecture,
Right.
and I was just start to explore. So first I went to Germany, lived there for 3 months, and I came to UK, and I liked it so much I stayed.
All right. All right. Yorkshire's a bit different from anywhere else in England, isn't it?
Yeah, especially this part is flat as a pancake.
Is it really? I must admit, I've never actually been to that area at all. So it's pretty flat, is it?
It is, yes. Humber
So,
River, and it's always as well. I find it slightly warmer whenever you get snow everywhere. Here we might get an inch and it disappears within hours. So yeah, we've got little microclimate here from Humber River. So yeah, but it's quite charming. We've got lovely countryside and the community, the people are really nice.
yeah, yeah. I lived in Sheffield for quite a while. That's South Yorkshire, and it's a great part of the world. It has a lot of character to it, I think. And I seem to remember there was a fair amount of snow in Sheffield at times, so didn't
Yeah.
have that kind of. It didn't have a microclimate like that. Yeah. What got you interested in bothies? What was your first encounter with a bothy?
So I started to hike. I always, coming from Poland, I lived far, far away from mountains, and my parents live in forestry area where there's plenty of lakes. So
Uh-huh.
I always thought that going into mountains is quite technical, like mountaineering. And
Yeah.
then my friend once she said, "Oh, fancy going hiking with us?" And she was Polish, so she said that in Polish, but then used the word hiking in English. And I said,
Uh-huh.
"What do you mean by hiking?" And she's like, "Well, it's like walking in mountains." So I'm like, "In mountains? That's mountaineering." She's like, "No, no, no, it's not technical. All you need is just sturdy boots and waterproofs." And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "Well, that's going for a walk." She said, "No, it's not quite like going for a walk, but it's not quite like mountaineering, something in between." And I'm like, "What? I don't understand." And there is no word in Polish for that. So she said, "All right, I'll take you." And she took me for a hike. And the next thing we was doing Yorkshire Three Peaks Challenge. I met someone who was doing mountain leader training. We
Right.
got along because we had the same pace. So we walked most of this challenge together. And the next thing, he started dragging me all over the Welsh mountains because obviously he was in the training. So he wanted to have the most QMDs, as much QMDs as possible. And then because I was so gullible and I said yes to everything, he just dragged me everywhere, and which I'm super grateful because I learned so much. And that's how he started taking me to Bothies. The first Bothy we went to was Arenig Fawr. It was just a lunch stop on our way up Arenig mountain, and I was just blown away of the idea that they open to public. You don't have to book. You can use them whenever you want. These places are shelters. You can stay for a night.
Hmm.
I love the scenery. I love how basic they are. Then next, he took me to next one, which was Doolin. We spent the night there. It was crowded, but everyone was super friendly. We at that time we stayed in a tent, and we woke up to snow, and it was just it was so beautiful. Next one was Kayamos, and after that, Corona happened. So obviously, we all struggle more or less. I struggle a little bit more with being locked up, and as soon we could get out, or even soon before that, I decided to venture out myself because I had already quite a lot of experience with Andy, who taught me a lot. And I went to Doolin Bothy, and I remember reading that book called Bothy by Phoebe Smith, and she was telling about Phil, how generous he was, that he shared the meal with her, and what a lovely experience she had. And I was like, I would love to meet one of the maintenance organizers. I'm walking in, and there's two guys sitting on front of the fire, just a very lovely glow from the fire, dark. They just like asking me questions. Soon, when I undressed, from my wet stuff, put my sleeping stuff out, they start cooking, share the meal with me. And it came out that was Phil, maintenance organizer to Doolin.
All right.
After that, yeah, after that weekend, after we get along really well, so he invited me to one of the work parties, and I turned up by myself, and the team was just so welcoming and friendly. I came a bit hesitant,
Hmm.
unsure what I'm doing there, because I'm like, I have no skills. What am I going to be doing here? They
Mm.
was doing a roof, and I'm like, well, if I can only pass the nails and a hammer, that would be enough. And they just dressed me up in their PPE. They fed me. They told me stories. They showed me more secret paths, secret caves, secret bothies, and I was just hooked. That was it. Millie was part of the Welsh team. So I start attending work parties more and more often, slowly sinking in a team, building that relationship, and within a year or something like that, opportunity of being a more came around. And I remember Phil was asking me, because by that time we was already pretty close friends. He said, Millie, we've got two Bothies, Penrose Isaf and Lewis Quimba. You would be great MR for one of these. Join them all. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I would love to maybe in the future, but it's a bit tough time. I was doing my mountain leader qualifications.
All right.
Life was pretty much full on. I had two jobs. I was single mom, and I was like, can I handle another task? And it's in Wales, like 3.5 hours away from my house.
Right. Right.
And I thought, you know what? I don't know when next opportunity gonna come along. I'm just gonna wing it. I was gonna wing it. I'll see how it goes. I'm sure the lad's gonna help me. I said yes. They voted me in, and I've been MR now since 2022.
Right. And what's that been like for you? Is it, I mean, you said you got no practical skills. I mean, has that changed?
Oh yes, massively. With every work parties, you learn a little bit. So you start from the donkey jobs.
Yeah.
Uh, and you know what? At the work parties, the biggest part of work party is carrying things in and carrying things out.
Oh, yeah.
Is usually take the whole day or more to bring the tools, to bring the materials, and by end of the work party to take the material tools out. So
Hmm.
we always need people to do that, and anyone can do that. If you can walk and you're carrying something on your shoulder or back, you're welcome to come and help us. And then there is always some nettles to pull out. Anyone can splash a little bit of paint on the wall.
Yeah.
Anyone can, with a little bit introduction to a tool and supervision, start doing more complicated tasks. So I remember my first things was like doing pointing because never wanted to do it. So I was like, Millie, can you do pointing? And I'm like, I have no idea what that is, but I'll do it. Yeah, just show me what to do. And they put me on the guillotine to cut the slate to the size.
Oh yeah.
And then while you come in more and they getting to know you more, they giving you more and more and more. And next thing, last project, Kayamos, 3 years nearly we spent there, putting roof together with lads. That is like badass girl me.
Brilliant, brilliant. And what do you think effect it's had on you? Has it changed your confidence? Because you come across as quite confident, but it sounds to me as though maybe you've come to where you are, a bit of a journey.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a bit of a journey because when I first started, I was in a bad place. I wasn't mentally where I should be.
Hmm.
Being a foreigner, you always lacking that feel of community. And I think in MBA, I found that. I found my community, I found my family, and I found my friends. I found somewhere where I belong. And with that, and knowing that people look after you and they letting you to be who you are, just build your confidence, but also allowed you to be a little bit vulnerable,
Uh-huh.
but in comfortable way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean that's
So
quite important, really, because until fairly recently, I would say that the Bothy community had a reputation for being mostly male, mostly middle class. No, not middle class. I wouldn't say that's right, but mostly middle-aged, say, or to older.
hmm,
And I could imagine that being a bit off-putting to someone like yourself. Is that right?
not necessarily, no. And you're right. And when I arrived, the guys was middle aged, and because how they take care of me, I
Right.
felt like their daughter or a
Right.
granddaughter.
I mean, there is a very strong sense of community, I think, amongst not only people who maintain bothies, but people who use them as well. I think it's partly because you're often in the middle of nowhere. You rely on each other if there's a problem. Is that true, do you think?
Yes, definitely. I heard some stories where both have been locked, and I am not saying that's not true. It just never happened to me. Mostly, and I've been going now to Bothy's for about 7 years, 7 or 8 years,
Okay.
and it never happened, fortunately, to me. And I don't know, I'm still questioning myself what it would be, how I would react, what I would do if that would happen to me, especially in the Bothy that I look after, that someone barricade the door and say, sorry, Bothy's full
Oh
and you're not
yeah,
allowed.
yeah, yeah. I've never experienced that.
I don't know, with the community, yeah, if someone forgets stove, you say, I've got stove, please use
Mm.
mine. If someone, and there is always, a bottle whiskey or rum going round, or
Mhm.
someone put some nibbles on the table and share food, always the talks, stories. And even if someone looking for ideas for walks, etc.,
Yeah.
there is always that generosity in sharing the knowledge.
Do you feel, from your own experience, did you feel a particular barrier being a woman entering that kind of community?
No, I didn't have that experience because the way the lads welcomed me
Right.
and outdoors, I never felt that. And when I start to reaching beyond my team to England and borders, South Scotland, and
Right.
beyond that, and meeting more area organizers, more maintenance officers, and more volunteers for MBA, I just found a very welcoming approach. So even though it's male dominated,
Uh-huh.
um, I didn't came across that.
Do you think that the image that perhaps Bothies have might be something that other women might find off-putting?
Definitely, that's why I don't know if you know, but from over a year, I start doing the women-centered Buffy Night for Beginners. And I remember the feeling inside me still when I was like, oh my God, who am I going to come across? who's going to be there? Are they going to try to hurt me? Are they going to be unpleasant? How am I, what is going to be there? But because I'm quite, I don't know, I just go and then figure things out. I'm just sometimes my worst enemies, I think. That,
You said are you running a scheme that introduces women to bothies? Is that right?
yeah,
Have
so,
I picked
so,
that up
so
right? Tell us a little bit about.
yes, yes. So I started this, and I'm doing this within a Buffy code. So I'm taking five girls, sorry,
Right.
four girls,
Okay.
and we having a great time. We're going for a little walk. Tell them all about MBA, what Buffy's is, introduce them correctly, tell them all the information, show them how to dispose ashes, show them how to start fire, show them
Oh
how the
yeah.
doling stoves works, to hang the bags up because even though you might not see them, the mice are there,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
and stuff like that. How to go to toilet. And some subjects might not be as comfortable to talk in a group, but in our little team of girls, it's
Yeah.
just different. And even talks like periods and
Uh-huh.
how you deal with that. Because when I first started going on hikes, I was like, oh, I'm on period, I'm not going. But that shouldn't be a barrier. That shouldn't be something will stop us doing. So it's great to have those girls and talk openly about things like that. And it's great to see them and their faces brighten up when we inside and having this great experience. And I seen the girls who came back to Bothies. So I think this is successful little movement.
Well, it's a funny thing because I'm actually writing one of my books at the moment, and in it there's a story about a Polish woman who takes a woman into a bothy, and you've just made it true. And so I think that woman's going to be called Millie now. Tell us about the bothy then that you maintain. Give us a pic. What's it like?
Penrose Isaf, it's a quite big bothy. To be honest, in Wales we do have a large number of big bothies. It's an old farm house.
Right. So sorry. When you
Uh,
say it's big, how many sort of because people need to sort of get an image of it. How many rooms has it got?
okay, so it's a two large bedrooms, we call it bedrooms,
Yeah, yeah.
on the first floor. And then on the ground floor, we have snug, which is a room with a stove.
Right.
Then it's kitchen. I call it kitchen or cooking room because we've got sink. And then it's back room, which is tiny little room divided from the kitchen room, cooking room. And it got outbuildings also with the barn and wood store. The barn is locked up because people was setting fires
Yeah, yeah.
inside. So we're just trying to reduce the
Yeah,
risk of Buffy being burnt down.
sure. And how long does it take to walk into this bothy? Is it a long way?
Not at all. So it's in the forestry. It's in
Right.
Coed Forest, which is very popular for mountain bikers. From the last gate is, I think, 800 yards.
Oh, right. It's very close then. Yes.
Very close. And the road it's a forestry track, so no bog, gravel, lovely dry road taking you to it. But you can make it as long as you want it, really.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the, the forestry in that area, the ranges are quite strict. So if
Right.
you park your car in a lay-by or car park where it says not overnight parking,
Uh-huh.
they will issue a little note for you. That means the details of the cars being taken. And also, they're quite strict with no camping in the forest. So if they
All right.
notice you, or
Okay.
someone will ring the information line,
Right.
they will come and ask you to move either to Bothy or away.
That
Visitors
is
told
different
me
in
that this
Scotland.
happened. Sorry?
It's different in Scotland, but yeah, yeah, okay. You're
Yeah.
allowed to do that in Scotland. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
usually you can get away with it, but this area is quite
Yeah.
strict. So
Some areas
we,
obviously have more pressure than others, don't they? Does the place feel special to you now?
oh yeah, I think for every person who volunteer and start working on the Bothy and give a little bit of yourself, a
Hmm.
sweat, tear, and maybe drop of blood.
Yes.
The Bothy really sinks in you, and it start feel a bit special because I think once you work on the Bothy,
Hmm.
it start having different meaning.
Yes,
And
I
as
think.
well, being maintenance officer. So if you have your little baby, your little pearl,
I've never heard a bothy called that before, but I'm sure you're right.
yes, because at first when I'm much younger than my colleagues, let's say,
Sure.
and I can get passionate and emotional, and I really was taking personally when I left Bothy spotless, which I'm sure many visitors do without being in the house, and
Yeah,
then you're coming back and it's completely trashed. The pots are not washed. The rubbish are everywhere. Some furnitures are burned. You're just like, seriously, I just put so much effort into doing this, and someone left it like that.
yeah,
And the lads was always saying, Millie, don't take it personally. It's part of the job. And they also say, rubbish attract rubbish, minimalism, and don't leave anything, and you will have less things to maintain. And that is really true. So in this last years, I learned that kind of principle to leave basic because everyone should come prepared,
yes,
uh,
yeah,
and just not taking personal and reach out to people, not being afraid to ask for help, to ask someone to come and collect the rubbish if there is a report of rubbish, because I can't do it every week. I live three and a
no,
half hours
no.
away.
No, no, that's right. No, I think my feeling really is that all the times I've visited Bothy's, I've hardly ever seen any deliberate vandalism. I think sometimes people do it out of ignorance or just because they don't really know what to do. And as you say, people leave rubbish sort of in kind of, bottles can't walk out, can they? And cans can't walk out.
Mm.
But people are not used to living in a place like that. This kind of just assume there's some bin somewhere, which isn't the case in a bothy. But that
No,
thankfully, I think, as you said, I think the vast majority of people do treat bothies with respect.
oh yes, definitely. If not this vast majority, of visitors who leave
No,
Bothy nicely and will take those rubbish left
yeah,
by previous visitor, I think we would struggle, and I think we would lose a lot of Bothies because we just don't have the manpower to do it. So mainly maintenance officer really is just a visit twice a year and make sure that
sure,
structurally it's okay,
yeah.
and organize work parties to repair any damage. But the rubbish issue, mainly we count on our to help us on our volunteers. So yeah, definitely majority they are lovely people who don't mind doing something for free.
Okay, okay. As a final thing, then, what would you say to anyone who might have been in your position as a woman, not knowing about bothies? If someone's interested in going into a bothy themselves, a woman like you, perhaps.
Come and see me. You-
That's
no, I'm
you might get
joking.
inundated.
You need to come out. You need to do what exactly what I did. Get yourself out on a work party. You will be looked after, I'm sure. The
That
work
sounds
parties
great.
are introduced on a website, on Facebook group, in our newsletter. Come out to your bothy you want to visit or in your area. You will feel welcome, and if you don't want to go on the party, ask people, try to find friends who might go, or even ask on Facebook group if it's anyone or some girls in the area who wants to meet up and go. And I'm sure there will be girls who will come out and wanted to meet up, spend the night in the Bothy. But I know I keep saying now about girls, but don't be afraid to reach out to guys, because our guys are the most lovely, helpful, respectful men, and there is nothing to be afraid of. Bothies are not places for American horror when someone behind the wall in the middle of the night waiting with a chainsaw. That's definitely not true.
I'm very glad to hear that. So, if someone was interested in you talked about your groups to introduce women to Bothies. If someone was interested in joining one of those little groups with you, how would they go about that?
So yeah, Facebook group, that's the main chain to it.
What's the
Um,
face group called?
and Mountain Bothies
Oh,
Association.
go to the Mountain Bothies Association Facebook.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
go
fair enough.
on go on event tab, and I'm trying to organize four of these a year.
Right,
So
right,
I already set two, one in Nansidian Bothy, which is in Mid Wales, one
right,
in Ross, which is my Bothy in
right.
North Wales. Next two we will be later in the year, and I will be organizing them more north. So I'm thinking maybe Humberland Bothies or somewhere in Scotland,
Right.
depending where I'm gonna be, because obviously, it's a long way. I always have a full house, and to be honest, I can't take any more than four or
No,
five.
no, no, of course not. No,
So
I realise that.
yes,
So it's limited, but sounds like it's something that could well grow and sort of take off. I have to say, listen to you, it's been an inspiration, really. I've enjoyed listening to really what you've got out of Bothying, how it's become important to you, and how that community is welcome to you. Has been fantastic. And just a last thing to say to you is thank you very much for what you're doing.
oh, thank you so much for having me. And no, absolutely pleasure. I think the boss is giving me more than I give it to bosses.
Wow,
So I
that's
should thank MBA, a Welsh team, and yeah, everyone who is part of it, really.
great. Thanks very much for everything you do, and I really hope you continue to enjoy Bothies and to introduce more women to them. That's fantastic. Millie, thanks very much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And a big thank you there to Millie for talking about her tremendous work with the Mountain Bothies Association. And really lovely to hear how supportive the community was to her. If you'd be like to get involved in the Mountain Bothies Association in any way, do pop along to their Facebook page, say hello, and I'm sure somebody will point you in the right direction. I don't know if you're aware, but one of the things I'm also doing, I'm developing my one-man show, Bothy Tales, which is it's a bit like spending an hour or so in a bothy with me while I recount things like encounters with mountain lions and avalanches and nights of spent in the bothies and just things about access. It's a very entertaining little show I'm putting together. And if you're interested in having a performance of that, do get in touch and I hope we can sort something out. Coming up on Outdoors in Scotland is a veteran climber. I think you'd probably have to call him the godfather of British mountaineering, really, Dennis Gray. And he'll be talking about his new book, Essays from the Edge. 50 years of mountain writing. He's actually been going longer than I have, which is hard to believe, really, isn't it? And I'd also like to extend a big thank you to Derek Williams for his fine editing and technical support, without which these episodes, well, it wouldn't exist, really. So thanks very much, Derek. One last thing, if you've enjoyed the show, do give us a little subscribe, and I look forward to talking to you again. I've been John Burns. Thanks for listening.